In this video, we're going to be looking at moves that the Detroit Lions could have made, which would have completely changed their future in the NFL. Let's get right into it. Now in this video, we're just going to be taking a look at recent stuff, like last year or maybe 2 years ago at the furthest. We're not going to go back to like the 90s or the 60s and say, well, if they made this trade. No, first of all, I don't know anything that went down then because that's too old for me. But anyways, we're just going to be focusing on recent things. And yes, there were some big things, big rumors you could say that were going on that would have changed the Detroit Lions outlook. Now right now, we really don't know what their future is. We hope it's good. But what we kind of do know what we have, right? We have a lot of young guys. We have a new offensive coordinator. We know we have some set pieces like Matthew Stafford. We know where our wide receivers are. We know everything right now, but this could have been completely different. There could have been a lot of question marks heading into the season. So let's get right into it. Now, I'm going to start off with an honorable mention because I don't think this would have changed the Detroit Lions' future, but I thought it was a big move the Detroit Lions could have made, and they could still make it, actually, and that is trading Marvin Jones. Detroit Lions haven't traded Marvin Jones yet, but they could do it after the season. They could do it in the future, but I don't think it would completely change their future. Like, if they did this, it'd be like, oh, that's a big move. But at the same time, it's just Marvin Jones. Like, you can get another wide receiver. Now, I think it would be big. It could count for a couple wins and losses, but I don't think it would be as big as some of the ones I'm about to get to. So let's get right into it. Coming in at number 3, I decided to move this down to number 3, and that is signing LeVeon Bell or Suh. Yes, if the Detroit Lions would have done either of these, it would have been huge. And LeVeon Bell is a big one for me. Okay, now LeVeon Bell ended up with the Jets. As we know, he was doing that whole holdout with the Steelers, and they had to use their other running back, and that kind of went on all last year. And then it came to the fact where, hey, maybe the Detroit Lions can actually sign LeVeon Bell. Maybe because they're bringing in this whole new offensive running game, and that's kind of what their focus is. Why not go get LeVeon Bell? Why not get the guy that just turned 27 years old? Not very old, but he's like the best running back. He's beast mode. He catches very well. Why not bring that guy into the team? Well, he was projected to get about $85 million over 5 years for the Detroit Lions, and he would have had $40 million guaranteed. That's a lot of money for the Detroit Lions, but at the time, they did have the money to spend. And that was before talking about TJ Lang's contract. Now, as we know, TJ Lang decided to retire, so that wouldn't have affected it at all. But with that being said, they did have the money to do that, but they've used it a little bit elsewhere. They've used it to go get other guys, not named LeVeon Bell. And I think you could make the case to say that was a good move. Like, Detroit Lions did fine moving on from that guy who's had a lot of problems, like holding out and stuff. We don't want that on the team. But at the same time, you could say, that's Le'Veon Bell. Like, the offense we were going to run, Le'Veon Bell would have completely changed this team, and an offense that has been kind of struggling for the last 1 or 2 years. Yes, I think there's both sides of the argument, but I think that would have been a big move. Then also signing Suh. Now, he ended up with the Buccaneers. I'm okay with not signing Suh. I don't love this man. I'm going to be honest. Now, I know the league is about money and players are about money. That's just what it is. Something makes me upset about Suh. And don't get me wrong, if he came back, I'd like him. But right now, I'm just not in love with Suh. I'm like, I really haven't seen the same production he had with the Detroit Lions. And I think that's because that's where he was meant to be. But he decided to leave. He went to the Dolphins. He signed that huge contract. Like, what was that, $114 million? Now he's on with the Buccaneers. He took over a number from a different defensive lineman that's kind of upset about it. So it's kind of a mess right over there. I think you could also make a case that it would be nice to bring him in. I don't know exactly how much Detroit Lions would have to pay, but I know the Buccaneers paid a pretty good amount of money to bring him in. Coming in at number 2, we have the Detroit Lions trading for Antonio Brown. Yes, this would have been huge. If the Detroit Lions would have traded for Antonio Brown, it would have been crazy, and it would have messed a lot of things up, and it would change so much of the Detroit Lions, okay? Take a look at what we have now. Think what we have. We have TJ Hockenson. We went through the draft. Think of our players right now, our wide receiver core, Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones. Now, forget all of that. Bring in Antonio Brown to the mix. Now, you may be asking, okay, what we have had to trade. And here's what people came up with. This was the idea. The Detroit Lions were going to have to give away what was their 8th pick in the draft, which we know they used on TJ Hockenson. They would have had to give away their 3rd pick in the draft, which they used on Will Harris when they traded up. They also would have had to give away their 2020 first-round pick, which we don't know what it is right now. At the worst, a top 32 pick in the draft. And they would have had to give away Jalen Reese-Maybin. I don't think that's a big one. Jalen Reese-Maybin was kind of out there. But the other ones, like 3 picks like that, those are huge. I mean, TJ Hockenson can be a complete game changer. First-round picks can be a team changer. And we would have been doing that all to bring in a guy named Antonio Brown. A guy that I don't know if you guys love him. People say he's not good for the locker room, and I understand that. Guy is very, very talented. And our trio would have looked like Marvin Jones, Kenny Galladay, Antonio Brown. I don't think it would have been great for the Detroit Lions. I don't think it would have been a great fit with Matt Patricia, but at the same time, you can't deny this guy is talented. That would have shook a lot of things up. So let me know in the comments below if you guys think it's a good thing the Detroit Lions said, heck no, we're not giving all that. Or if you think, okay, Yeah, we probably should have. Now, right now, we don't know anything, and in the future, we'll know. We'll be able to look back and say, okay, this is what Antonio Brown did with his new team, and this is how our picks fared. Would it have made sense to trade those picks away? So, we can look back on it, but right now, let me hear your thoughts in the comments below. And then finally, coming in at number 1, the biggest move the Detroit Lions could have made that would have changed the future. I mean, you're talking in the next 5 years at least. Trading away Matthew Stafford to the Dolphins. Yep, that's it. Now, there's other teams that are probably interested, but the Dolphins are the main one because it was leaked a while ago that the Miami Dolphins tried to trade for Matthew Stafford. Heck no. Like, I'm so glad that this did not go down. Now, obviously, teams were looking at Matthew Stafford because a lot of people in Detroit Lions community, I know a lot of people don't like him, and they were thinking like, man, this guy's got to get out of here. We got to move on and get a new quarterback. And I think that's where the Dolphins had the idea. Yeah, we have Ryan Tannehill. Why don't we go use our resources and go get that guy Matthew Stafford, who's not very old. He just turned 30. Let's bring him on our team. I'm glad the Detroit Lions did not make this move, but I mean, imagine the difference. Yes, we would have had a lot more picks. We would have been drafting a quarterback this season. That's what it would have been. It would have been, oh my, the league would have, the Lions, the NFC North would have changed. The Lions would have been so much different. I would have to take down all my fat heads of Matthew Stafford because the Detroit Lions would be looking elsewhere, whether it's another trade to bring in a quarterback, whether it's through the draft to get a guy like Dwayne Haskins or something like that. I'm glad we didn't because I don't want Dwayne Haskins. I want Stafford. But at the same time, I mean, this would have been crazy. Imagine if this stuff would have went down. That's huge, and I'm so glad Detroit Lions did not do that one. If there's one thing I have a take on, is that I'm glad they did not decide to move on from Matthew Stafford. Now, is he still a possibility? I guess everything's a possibility. I hope it doesn't happen. I don't think it will happen. But as of now, we know Matthew Stafford is our quarterback, and I'm glad that we know that. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you guys want to help out charity, make sure you click the link in the description, go to the shop, and get one of your King of the North shirts. They're about $15. Every 2 sales will approximately be $10 to charity. So if you guys want to help out, make sure you do that in the description. Also, if you are new, make sure you click that subscribe button because, well, why not? Because it's cool, and it's easy. You just click it. Anyways, thank you, Pride, for watching, and I'm out.